how do you do? My name is Macarena Villar from Section 3, and this is my first journal entry of the semester. On this journal, I'm going to talk about my learning process in terms of pedagogical practices. Secondly, about my learning process about the unit human rights and gender inequality. Finally, about my cycle planning, what I did, and if it was useful for me or not. About the pedagogical practices that I have seen on IEL course is about that this good environment that we have. It's really useful to share ideas and communicate among us, but I could notice that this comfortable environment, even though I know my classmates for 3 years from that we started, the teacher is who make if you are going to feel comfortable to share your ideas or not. So, for example, I the last semester, I didn't want to participate very much on Pamela classes because I feel afraid to make some mistakes or because the environment wasn't too comfortable to express my ideas or I didn't know how she was going to react. But now, um, well, besides that, I know her better. Uh, I I noticed that her disposition in the class is more like I want to hear you. I know what you're thinking. So that makes me feel that when you are a teacher, you have to make your students notice that you want to listen to them and you don't care if they going to make some mistakes maybe on their speech, but the idea is that they all participate because that is the objective, the focus of the CLT approach. And beside of that, the other methodology that was different on this semester was the literature workshops that was with the whole generation. I didn't like pretty much not the idea that we work all together because I think that it is useful that we all and I don't know like hear the opinions that section one have or the other classmates that I don't know maybe I haven't shared with them through this whole 3 years. But I think that maybe we could work on our sections about I don't know the first part of the book and share our ideas like because you want to talk with your classmates that you feel comfortable and then and maybe establish as a like opinion or idea as a whole section and then bring it to when we work all sections together because I think that these little workshops was to force to make us talk and also was kind of teacher centered because no one wants to talk. Teachers have to like okay so we have to move on so we are going to talk and just so I don't know I don't like pretty much I think that is a good idea but maybe to work with our sections and then bring it as a whole. About the unit, it makes me realize how, as future teacher, how important are human rights like and gender equality. And I have seen on my eLab how many teachers go go teachers go go over students even if they have problems like psychological problems and they don't care about them and about I mean like respect them as a human like a human being and also about the task that we have to do it about someone or a situation that we have witnessed or know, but a person that was their human rights was vulnerable, vulnerable. So my task was based on my grandfather life. So it makes me realize that how even someone who is my grandfather, my family, my related person, I don't know. um, um, the whole human race was vulnerable by the our society that no one helps him. I didn't like reflect about that or have conscious about that because my mother told me his story. It was like, oh, that's really sad. But when you know these articles of human rights and you see other stories about this, and you start to see it from another perspective, that is like really shocking and makes you realize that you are living um, and you're going to see this human violation of human rights on your students, by their parents and also by your colleagues. That some teachers, they don't have the vocation to be teachers, and I don't know why they are working there. And I have been witness of that on my school, that they just treat the kids like they are, I don't know, even animals. You can treat them like that, like so unrespectful. So I don't know. I think that is a good idea to see this unit, and I think that those teachers should r- read about this. Um, well, finally, about my cycle planning, I I didn't make my cycle planning like itself. I just I started to practice a lot of my writing, and I see that that was will be noticed on my task because I didn't have problems on the on the part of language, like only two some verbs that I made the mistakes to write them in present instead of past. But I think that I have worked enough, but it wasn't like with the cycle planning. So for me, it is not useful because I learned on the first 2 years to autonomous learning, to just read some papers, read some books, and work by myself. So I practice. I have studied a lot. I have work on my pronunciation also, but I didn't use the cycle planning itself. So I don't know if that is bad. So I'm sorry if that is wrong, if I commit that mistake, but yeah, I didn't use the cycle planning, but I do work on my pronunciation, that I'm going to add the links after this video on on the post of this video. Um, yeah, that will be all. So thanks, and see you in the next